Some days I think that you might be the one. Drop everything and take you and we'd run.
Hi, my name is Seven, S-E-V-E-N, like the number, and want me to spell my last name?
Yeah, sure.
Taviss, T-A-V-I-S-S, yeah.
Me and you. Me and you.
Growing up, a lot of like my parents would just blast like Ray Charles, Michael Jackson, and we'd always have like him on the TV, and I'd just be like, wow, like the way that he can connect with people and the way that he has that effect on people. See him, they're like, wow, he's Michael, like they look up to him. And I was like, I want to have that effect on people, and I want to be able to inspire people the way that he does. And so yeah, so ever since then I've just been like focusing on that. And then Bieber came along, and then I was just like, man, I gotta do that. I gotta learn how to do that the way he just, I don't know, just I grew up listening to a lot of like them, like Bieber and Michael Jackson, so that was kind of what got me started.
Hi, my name is Seven Taviss. I am 13 years old, and I'm going to be singing Beauty and the Beat by Justin Bieber. Show you off. Tonight I want to show you off what you got. I'm feeling good and never bite. We gonna party like it's 30-12 tonight. I wanna show you all the finer things in life. So just forget about the world we young tonight. I'm coming for ya, I'm coming for ya.
Every song, I think every track starts differently for me. I kind of start with, like, usually it's with piano. And then I go to my voice memos, and I have like, from like during the day, I'll like go and I'll just spit a little lyric in my voice notes, and then I'll go, if I'm running low on ideas, I go to my voice notes and just scroll through, and then usually it starts with that, and then I do piano, right? And so I build off that. But every song is kind of different. Some songs take a lot longer than the others, but yeah. If I'm in love with a track and I know I have a clear idea of what I'm trying to say, because sometimes I'll like write something and be like, oh man, I don't have it today. And then, you know, I'll open up a next project because I have ADHD. So like, I'll like, oh, this is a cool idea, but this doesn't make sense with this song. So then I'll open up another template, and then I'll just have a bunch of unfinished songs. So for me, it's like, it takes a little bit of time, but it depends on the song. There's some songs that I write in like an hour. And there's some songs that I write in 2 months. Like, it just changes.
I don't want nobody else. I want you to myself.
Something health, or is that lame? Is that cheesy?
I don't know. I don't want nobody else. Want you to myself.
I think a lot of this Clouded album is me. I was dealing with a lot of like uncertainty, and I think especially with this album, it's very diverse. Like there's like this one for sure was heartbreak. Next one could be probably more heartbreak, honestly. But it changes. This album for sure is definitely me dealing with a lot of uncertainty, and aka that's why it's called Clouded, because nothing's for sure and you don't really know.
I need you right now. I need you right now. Oh.
Yeah, Seven is a really cool person to be around. He's really fun. He's very energetic. He can be a lot, but honestly, he's a really, really good friend outside of music, and he's very selfless, and he cares a lot about people and his friends, and I'm very lucky to have him as a friend because he supports me in a lot of ways. One time I came to this new studio where he was supposed to have a part in a song, and he said that he was super nervous, but once he like opened the door, he was super open, super extroverted, running around, singing, jumping up and down while I was sitting on the sofa like, okay, like I'm here for support if you still want. But I think that was like one of my favorite memories, is just to see him like how in love he is with music, and just like when he starts going, it's like you can't stop him, and he's like in his own little bubble.
And then it's...
Should I do it? No, this is a rough. We're gonna re-record all this shit.
It's a rough.
One song that I really love though, that I think describes the album, I would say as a whole, is I have a song on it called Changes, and it kind of, for me, it kind of goes through, the name in itself kind of explains it, but the whole album is me just trying to figure out what's going on in my head. For me, I listened to I didn't even think Changes was going to be on there. So I was going through tracks to kind of fill up some space in the album, and then I was listening to it and I was like, well, this was a completely different time and my mindset was in a completely different pace. And I was just like, wow, this track Changes just makes sense. Like, at that time I was dealing with a girl who didn't really know what she wanted, but then she said that she did, and then we were dealing with situations where like she was kind of going on her own way, and then just like a complete 360 of like my whole, not world because that's dramatic, but my life kind of just like, we went from this thing to now like she's not there anymore.
Don't mean that I'll change. I've been going through changes. I'm going through changes. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Don't mean that I changed. Oh.
When I first met him, he was sort of doing it, but like not really super committed. And at the time, neither was I to what my art at the time. I was just fresh out of high school. So I was sort of just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And definitely the change in mindset of like art more as our perspective, art forms more as a hobby to like an actual career and something we want to make a living off of is what I'd say is the most prevalent change. But also through that, Seven, as I'm pretty sure he said, uses his music to sort of get things off his chest and help him cope through things. So it became I quickly started to know him very well, just because of that fact alone. And as we wrote music to more and more together, I over time saw the growth in terms of how he would handle situations or the things he was dealing with. So overall, I mean, as it would with any person, there's just a lot of growth that he went through, and I think a lot of good growth. And I know especially in terms of his music, he's so much more comfortable with it now. And he works a lot harder than when I first met him.
Don't know what to explain it, but I wish that it was us we were dating. Oh, and I bet he's probably real nice. Buy expensive things, forget the price. But is he there when you're feeling down? Ugly sweatpants on, don't care who's around.
Definitely say some of the best memories I've had with him were from the start of our friendship, because at that time it was summer, and I wasn't working. And he didn't have a lot of work going on, so it was just a lot of time for music. And we were working like day in, day out, constantly writing new stuff, meeting up with new artists, and just really working like a 9 to 5 at that time. And I'd say that was probably some of the best memories, because I always look back on those times, and I know I will in the future again, to see like where we come from and all that work we put in back then, and like nights where I'd be there so late. Like I know there was one time I left the studio and it surprised me, because I walked out of the studio and the sun was rising. I was like, holy shit. And I'd never thought that I'd see myself working on anything with that sort of passion and just determination. And that's something that we helped bring out of each other. So I'd say those were definitely some of the best memories I had with him. But obviously a lot more in between, and a lot more to come over the years of us knowing each other. I never listened to radio.
No, but like, you don't understand. You gotta. No, but you have.
Yeah, but I.
For me, I'm a very anxious person, but I'm also very confident in like music side of things. So it's a little bit of like, oh man, I want people to love it, but I also know that I put a lot of work into it, so I know the people that do love it are the people that just like love my music and love me. And so I'm just excited. I just want to put it out there so I can start working on the next stuff and I'm excited. I'm just really excited. And I think the difference between this album and like singles is like, I love singles, don't get me wrong. Singles still mean the same thing, but I think this is like a whole body of work. It's like a story as a whole. So I'm excited to like more share the story. I'm excited for people to like listen to it and like make their own, be like, oh, he's dealing with this. It's like, no, but I'm gonna leave it up to you.
I'm trying to stay alive, but this bottle's taking me to my grave.
I just want this weight off of me. Tired of all this anxiety. I just want this weight off of me. Tired of all the insanity.
Perfect.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Now we have it.
Cool.
Again, I deal with a lot of anxiety constantly, like about everything, like small things you would think you wouldn't get anxious about. I've been there. But I think I wanted to kind of give people a look into my brain, kind of being like, I deal with heartbreak differently. I analyze things a lot, and I think this album is just about me dealing with those, not knowing at times how to feel. And I think that it kind of takes you in the beginning. It starts with starts with Head to Your Toes. And I had a friend that like was dealing with a lot of, someone that I actually love a lot was dealing with a lot of like anxiety herself and dealing with a lot of confidence issues. And I was just like, wow, I love this girl, and I want to. Originally, Head to Your Toes was supposed to be just a single for that person, and I was just gonna give it to her. And then I was like, wow, I love this person so much. And then I started writing another song, and I was like, wait, this song's about this person too, and she's so great. And so I wrote Don't You Change a Thing. And then after that, I was just like, I was dealing with so much anger and like anxiety from like this, like just like not being able to tell if she even cared. And so the whole story is about me just being like, yo, I love this girl, but at the same time, she sucks. I don't even want to be around her. The next song, you got me be like, wow, she's amazing. And so people are like, wow, I know people are going to be like, what are you thinking? Fact is, I don't know what I'm thinking. Still don't. But yeah, that kind of album it takes you on a journey of like, just not knowing. I think the way I see it is like, I want people to relate to it, but also make their own story and be like, connected to how they're feeling in their situations. And I think something, again, that I'm constantly going to say is that, I deal with a lot of anxiety, and I'm human. And I think that the album kind of just shows that, like, you can mess up, and you can deal with a lot of, you can handle it, and you can get through it, and you'll be fine. I think this album kind of describes me just going through so many things, and at the end of it, knowing that I'm going to be okay, and things are going to be good. And I hope people can relate to it. And the whole thing with anxiety is that, like, nothing's for sure, and that's okay. You don't need to know. Nothing's for sure. I think, again, that is the biggest thing I want to say. It's like, you never know what what's gonna happen. And I know for me, it's like, I like to know what's next, and I hate it. I hate when I'm like, oh man, cool, wow, why doesn't she do this? This is what she's supposed to do. And then Esteban will be like, no. And I'd be like, why not? You're like, because they're not you, and you can't do that. And so the whole album is me just dealing with not knowing. And I think that, yeah, I hope people can relate to it and can be able to relate.
Cause the way you love me, you feel so lucky, I don't deserve you. Whoa, oh. So don't let me go. So don't let me go.